So here we are. What are we? 1 degree 8 minutes south and 108.40 west, proceeding at 9.9 knots on a course of 263. Day 7 from Galapagos, I think it is. Yeah.
6.
Day 6.
Do we leave on Saturday?
No, yeah, right. Day we left on the 2nd. Today's the 7th. Day 6. How's it going?
Well, it's long. But I mean, as passages go, it's been perfect. The weather's been great. The sea's been absolutely calm. Everything's been just lovely.
We've had a few little things to deal with. We've had a lot of people following us and some of the things they've been asking. My buddy John from Zimbabwe, do we stop at night? Oops, no. And also another guy from Zim, lives in America now, asks how we do our watches. So why don't you talk about that?
Okay, so we don't stop. From the time we left Galapagos, we've been moving for 6 days. So we keep watch. We take it in turns to do roughly 4 hours. So I'll generally do from 7:30, 8 o'clock until around midnight. Frank will sleep, and then when he wakes up around midnight, or sometimes it's just after 11, sometimes it's only closer to 1, then he'll take over and he'll let me sleep until later. Roughly 4 hours, it could be 5 hours, and then I'll come on watch early morning and he'll lie down again and sleep until possibly 6, 7 in the morning. And
I'm programmed to have coffee.
yeah, then we have coffee and little bricks. We'll tell you about those later. And then I go and lie down and sleep until 9, 10 o'clock. And then we're up and about for the rest of the day. So we don't stop. There's always somebody.
That's a
keeping watch.
long-winded way of saying we keep watch.
Yes.
And
We take it in turns.
At night we do 4 hours on and 4 hours off.
Roughly.
Fuck me. You've already taken 3 minutes just to describe that. So we have a routine. The other question was, what do we eat? We've been extremely lucky on this trip that we basically had a hot cooked meal every night because the weather conditions have allowed proper food preparation in the galley. And because we caught some fish, we've also been able to eat some fish.
Yeah, before we left, I prepared some meals and froze them. So I've got about 10 meals that are frozen, but we haven't had to use them because conditions are good enough to be able to cook every night. So now we're nearly out of some of our fresh produce, like onions. And but we can still cook, like Frank said. We've caught a couple of mahi, which we froze, and we've had a couple of meals where we've taken mahi out of the freezer. So in the mornings we have yogurt, cereal, fruit, fresh fruit. We still have some fresh fruit. And then at lunchtime we probably have like a ham and tomato sandwich. And then in the evening I'll make hot food.
Or we have leftovers for lunch.
Yeah, sometimes we have leftovers. So we have those. I could put some of the chicken and that into a quesadilla. Those are quite nice.
The other thing to say is that we do have a lot of frozen prep food that was made by Leslie and prepared by Leslie before we left Panama. But while we've got conditions like this, we're enjoying some wonderful cooked food. Like she made a delicious lasagna the other night, and you wouldn't be able to do that if it was crappy weather.
Yeah.
We are fishing. It's been a little more difficult since we left Galapagos. First of all, it hasn't been the fish haven't been biting, but also with these fuel bladders on the stern, I'm reluctant to get too involved simply because landing the fish with the fuel bladders brings with it all sorts of risks. At least 2 people have said to me, Dave Knapp and Dewey Knapp said to me, don't hook the fuel bladder.
Yeah, be careful you don't gaff the fuel bladder.
Don't gaff the fuel bladder. The one mahi that we caught, he was like supersized. I managed to lose my small gaff. He managed to escape at one point with the knife still in the back of his head. But we did get him back on board, and I did recover the knife, which was really... And I landed the fish. It sounds brutal, and I apologize.
Also, on a fishing note, we did hook two different marlin, one, Tuesday and one Wednesday. And I don't know if anybody's ever fished for marlin, but man, can these fish take off. Anyway, they took off with our beautiful black barb lures still attached. Which was sad. I mean, it was sad but a relief, because if we'd managed to drag the thing all the way to the boat, now what? Because we don't want to land it, because we're not going to eat it. We just got to lean over to try and get the hook out of its mouth so we can recover our lure.
Anyway,
yeah,
we've had a few hiccups. While the weather's been great, we had a leaking port stabilizer, which we didn't really pay too much heed to until we got to Galapagos, and then we realized there was quite a lot of a leak. Truth is, we've had a very slow leak there for a couple of years, and people have just said, oh, NIADS leak, NIAD stabilizers. Until we finally stuck our head in there and realized that there was a loose cap with an O-ring that I could virtually tighten with my hand. And I checked all the hoses, but I'd never checked this blue cap. Anyway, it's tightened. It's got a lock wire on it. I've monitored it for the last 3 days, and everything's great. Other issues that we had some trouble trying to figure out what was going on with our alternator and our Balmar regulator. That's all settled down. It seems to be working on a 7-hour timer. I see it's gone down again now. And regular as clockwork, that's keeping up with the charge of the batteries. The shaft has a dripless seal. We went through a patch where it was really spitting out a bit of salty water. It still spits a little, but it's not really anything to worry about. And we managed to break the third step down in the pilot house, which means negotiating down to the salon and the galley is a little tricky at this point. No cracks about my weight. What else? That's it. I'll say this. Having Starlink is a game changer. It's a game changer for everyone who follows us. It's a game changer for us to be able to be in communication and watch Netflix and other things. And as someone who has had a lot of experience in the satellite communications world, it basically has changed the way everybody operates out here. I did test the rest of my equipment yesterday, and the VSAT still hasn't locked on to the satellite because the beam is too broad. So the Iridium worked, the Iridium Certus and the Iridium Go, but Starlink is changing the way it all operates. And for all the noise that some of the providers make, let me tell you, Starlink is the bomb. What about sea life and stuff? Dolphins?
Oh yes, up until 2 days after Galapagos, we were seeing dolphins nearly every day. Like we said, we caught some mahi, we hooked some marlin, and since then it's been like a desert out there. Occasionally we see dolphins way off in the distance. Oh, but yesterday we did hook bonita.
2 oceanic bonita.
At the same time. But
yeah.
Honestly, it's like a bit of a desert out here. There's nothing going on. But this morning we did see a ship over 12 miles away, passing around our stern on his way to
He
China.
actually got as close as 6 miles, but past the stern. We were a bit busy discharging the one of the 150-gallon fuel bladders off the stern.
So yeah, that's another thing we've done is we did the 300-gallon, which was on the foredeck, and then this morning we did one of the 150 gallons. So we still have 2 150-gallon bladders to empty. But I mean, it was seamless. It worked really easily. It was really easy and efficient. So thanks to ATL Bladders.
Yeah,
for
big
those.
shout out to ATL Bladders. Just because I can or wanted to, I decided to try and gravity feed the first one today. We sat on it and pushed we got maybe half of it out, and then it was becoming too much of a struggle. So we took a time out, connected the 12 volt 15 gallon per minute pump, connected that to a 12 volt car battery, starter battery, and boom, the bladder was empty in minutes. So it's all good. We got a lot more room in the back now, so that's also very cool.
And we folded the bladder away, and it's out of the way. You don't even know where it is anymore.
Yeah.
Because they fold down pretty small.
So despite what we put up on Facebook and Instagram, people still message me and say, where are you going? What's your next destination? Our next destination is 1,900 miles away. It is Nuku Hiva, Marquesas, French Polynesia. Latitude 8 degrees south, 140 degrees west. We will be there next weekend, so the 16th or 17th, if we keep up with this great current. Onwards from there, we expect to explore the Marquesas, then the Tuamotus in French Polynesia, on over to Bora Bora, or at least the islands near Bora Bora, which is in the Society Islands. And then after 3 months in French Polynesia, we sort of plan to hit Tonga and Fiji. But that's 5 or 6 months out from here. And then towards the end of the year, we'll shoot down to New Zealand, all things being equal. But right now, we're dealing with the passage, which is long. As you know, we have another
10 days.
9 days to go, and 9, 10 depending, but I think it'll be 9. And we're in a routine, and we keep that routine up, which is really important. I did my estimates at 4.5 gallons per hour. That's approximately what we're burning. We left Galapagos with 2,800 gallons. I believe we'll arrive in the Marquesas with something in the region of 1,100 gallons. So it will be a good safety margin, and things will be going well.
We ran the generator purely to run the water maker to do a flush on the water maker. Other than that, we haven't had to run it
And
at
to
all.
make water, actually, to bring the bow down.
Okay. Well, that's it.
All right, well, anyway, good passage so far, right?
Lovely.
Cool.
Long may it last.